Doha. Setting up. Alright, what's good, Welcome back to an episode of Kingsley TV. My name is Kingsley Brown. I post videos about the track and field experience in my life as a professional sprinter. So if you vibe with that, consider hitting that subscribe button. Alright, as you can see, I'm still here in Doha. You can see the skyline. Pretty crazy out there. Stay here a couple days for a little bit of training before heading over to Birmingham, where I'll link up with Team Canada. We'll run a relay. I ran the 200 here. Ran my second one of the season.
It's a clean start. Curly though stormed round that bend, and Aaron Brown is right up there. You could throw a blanket over them at this point. Noah Lyles is going to get the win just from Curly.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest, but you know what? We got some things to clean up. We gonna get it right. But yeah, man, today's video is gonna be a quick Q&A video. Just something to bridge the gap between my last post and my next post, which would be my Kenya vlog for my trip to Nairobi. When that's ready, I'll put a card right here for you guys to watch. But with all that said, let's get into your questions. Where I am 05 asked, how do I improve my stride length? All right, so like I always say, I'm not a coach, but I'll take a stab at this. So with speed, right, it's two things, stride length and your stride rate. So stride length is how long you're going, and stride rate is how fast you're going, right? You combine the two and that's how you get your speed. So with that equation, you first need to ask yourself, is that really what you need to do? And that's why I'm not a coach, because I don't know you personally. I don't know what your running style is like. I don't know what your coach is trying to teach you. I don't know if you have a philosophy behind the way you run. So I don't like to just blindly tell people what to do and mess them up. But just going in general, sometimes people are frequency runners, so they have really high rates of turnover, and they might need to increase their stride length because their turnover is really quick, but they're not going anywhere and they're not gaining any ground. So if you're a shorter sprinter, or if you're someone with really high rate of turnover, the way to increase your stride length is to hang the knee higher. Bring the knees up, keep it in the air a little bit longer before you bring it back down to the ground. Sometimes high frequency runners will be really quick with their spinning. They won't let their knee hang, and so they're cutting their stride length off. And I've done this in the past where I've tried to increase my stride rate, but I sacrifice my stride length in favor of that. And that's why I don't like to just blindly tell people to just do this, because you might sacrifice one thing to do another. Quick answer is to hang the knee a little bit higher, allow it to reach a little bit more distance. You don't have to get too much more. A lot of people will make the mistake of trying to get it all in one stride and start reaching out, and that's when you really slow down your rate of turnover, and that's when you get slower. So you want to make sure that you hang the knee just a click longer, and maybe raise the knees a little bit higher to give yourself more time to get it back down. That'll also increase your stride length. Sometimes it's flexibility that you need stronger core so you can hang in the air longer, get the knees up higher. Sometimes you just need to be more aggressive with the way you're running and putting more force into the ground, because every action has a reaction. Yeah, off the top of my head, without knowing who you are, what you look like, how you run, that would be my answer. But my real answer is I'm not a coach, and you should ask your coach if that's even necessary, first of all. And then if it is, how you would go about improving it. P. Millie, also my wife, hey babe, asked, do you think track and field is the most inclusive sport for all abilities? Yes, I do. I feel like track and field athletics is the core for all sports. Speed, endurance, strength, all that stuff is the core essence of what other sports are built off of. So I definitely feel it's all inclusive, because there's something for everybody. If you're a specialist and you like things like high jump or pole vault, and you're really good with technical skills, there's an event for you. If you're good at speed endurance, you can run forever, you have great lungs, there's an event for you. If you could jump really high or really far, there's an event for you. If you're really fast, you got nice fast twitch muscles, there's an event for you. If you're really strong, if you're big, very technically sound, but also able to combine speed and strength, there's a throwing event for you. There's an event for everybody, and it's even nuanced between how you break down each event. So if you're good at throwing, but you're not good at throwing with raw power, but you're more refined and you have technical skills, there's the javelin. I don't really know all the other events and what goes into it, but you know what I'm saying. There's an event for everybody, and track and field is wonderful in that way, that if you're not good at one event, you could try another. And if you're pretty good at all events, but you're not great, there's the multis. So you can do an event where you literally try everything. You know, there's something for everybody, and I feel like it's the most inclusive sport for sure. All shapes, all genders, all sizes, yeah. Hearts Familia asks, how do you calm your nervousness before a race? It's a great question. I always feel like it helps to stay present. A lot of times you could worry about what's gonna happen and think about the future and start projecting. Think about, oh, if I mess up, if I have a bad start, if I react poorly, if I don't catch people, if they get out on me. All these variables of things that haven't even happened yet, your mind will start racing, your heart will start pumping, and you'll start to worry. What you need to do is stay present And the way that I best can do that and stay grounded is to focus on my breath and self-talk. So if I find myself, my heart's starting to elevate, I'm starting to get nervous and I'm starting to worry about what's gonna happen, I'll take deep breaths, in and out, and I'll talk to myself. I'll say, I'm here, I'm with you, it's okay, we got this, you got this, you prepared, you're ready. Just reaffirm in my brain that I'm ready to do this. Stay present in the moment. Don't allow my brain to wander too far into the future. Just stay present and focused on what I'm about to do and keep myself grounded. Matthew takes wins as what is your greatest achievement? Honestly, that's a tough question for me and I don't really know. I've achieved a lot of great things throughout my career, but no one thing really stands out more than the others. There's some really good things that I've done. There's some things that I wish I did even better. Off the top of my head, just to give you an answer, not have it as a cop-out, I'd probably say running sub 10 or sub 20 or making the Olympic final in the 200 meters. You know, that was a big goal of mine to make an individual event Olympic final. There's still a lot of goals out there for me that I want to achieve. So I'm gonna say my greatest achievement is something that I haven't achieved yet. It's still out there and it still keeps me hungry and fuels the fire for me to go out there and train every day and compete hard. I've Hiram 000000000. I think that's enough zeros. Asked, what are simple training tips for 400 meter training? Well, the 400 meters is a sprint, but it's also an endurance sprint. So you have to make sure you're working on your speed and your strength. So I'll definitely work on things like speed endurance runs, 250s, 300s, a lot of those, 200s, come down for a little bit of sprinting, you know, do some blocks, but you want to make sure you're working on that strong speed endurance background. I did some 400 meter training this season, so I know a little bit about that. You got to throw in some 5s in there, throw in some 400s in there. You really got to make sure you're toning those muscles, getting them ready to run and get used to that lactic acid because that will be your best friend. You want to invite the lactic acid. Make sure that it's hitting you at the end of the race, not too early. It's going to come regardless. If you're running a fast enough pace, it's going to come. But you don't want to be afraid of the lactic acid because if you are, you're not going to get out hard enough. You're going to be running at a too conservative pace. So you want to make sure at training that you're practicing getting out hard and inviting lactic acid. The more you feel it, the more you're able to hold it off in a race because it's going to come later and later. You're going to push your lactic acid threshold. So that's why I say invite it, make it your best friend at practice so that when you get to the meet, you're able to hold it off longer into the race and theoretically go faster because you're able to hold the speed without hitting that wall. Work on your strategy, make sure you're getting out at a comfortable pace that you can hold. So you want to find that fine balance where you're getting out hard enough and you're pushing yourself so you can run faster and faster times.
This looks like the PS5.
Our flight's at 147. Alright, I just finished up my shakeout, so I'm still at the track. Answer a couple questions here. Next question says, how do you know who you are and what your life purpose is? That's some deep stuff right there. Golly. Damn, how do I even answer this? I don't really know how to answer this. You know who you are just based on what you like to do and what gets you up, what your passion is. Insta-Aga asked, what is your favorite Olympics that you've competed at? Definitely 2012, London 2012. That will always be #1 in my heart just because it was my first one. I went when I was 20, so I was young, youthful. I was just happy to be there. You know, I qualified for my first Olympics, got to call myself an Olympian. And overall, it was just pound for pound the best Olympics. Team USA basketball team, you know, it had all the stars, Kobe, LeBron, Melo, D Wade, everybody was there. Got to meet them in the games room, so that was dope. Just being amongst the world-class athletes, man, like Athlete Village with Michael Phelps and Serena Williams and all those stars. Being in the village amongst those people at such a young age, you know, getting my feet wet. That was my first senior teams. To be amongst even people like Usain Bolt, Justin Gatlin, Johan Blake, those type of guys, you know, I was just like, man, I made it. I'm a young 20-year-old. I'm still a sophomore in college, but I'm here at the Olympics at the pinnacle of the sport, and that was my first taste of the big leagues, so that's always going to be number one in my heart. Of course, Tokyo, we had the COVID stuff, so that wasn't the full experience. That one could have been number one, but nah, definitely not. And then Rio, you know, there were some problems there as well. Rio was cool, but I has a bad taste in my mouth based on how I performed in my individual events. So London was dope, great legacy, great atmosphere, the crowd was amazing. Definitely London. The J's 20 asks, what makes you go when you don't want to? Man, I think the only thing that makes me go when I don't want to is my goals. You definitely have to set aside your current state in order to help your future self. I always tell myself your future self will thank you. So when you don't have the motivation, you're lacking, you don't want to get out and do what you got to do, handle business and the small things and grind, go out there and just work hard. Sometimes it's tough because you don't have that motivation. Sometimes you feel not the greatest. You don't feel like getting out of bed, or you don't feel like going to work, or you just want to chill and, you know, have fun and just do something easy. But you got to remember your goals. You always have to keep your sight on your goals, because that's what's going to keep you motivated when you don't have that drive, that passion to go out there and do what you got to do. Do the necessary grind work, the grunt work, that's going to get you to where you want to go. So always focus on your goals and make sure you have that discipline, man. Big difference between those who are talented and go on to do great things and those who don't and flame out is discipline. It's an underrated skill. It's an underrated talent that people have, and some people have to work at it and develop it. Some people have it naturally, but definitely have to have discipline, man. That'll take you the distance, because when you don't have that motivation, discipline will keep you in line. Phenomenal Prakar asks, how many years of training did it take you to break 10 seconds in the 100 meters? Well, let's see. I ran my first 9.9 in 2016, and I was 24 years old. I started training full-time in high school. I'd say 2008, 2009, when I was like 16, 17. So that's what, 7-8 years of training. It was my second year professional, so I guess 2 years as a pro, 8 years in total at full-time training. Took a lot of work, went a lot into it. I ran 9.96, which is still my PR. I definitely need to break that. I'm overdue for like a 9.8, but I'm working, I'm training, working on some things. But yeah, it took me 7-8 years total to run 9.9, and took me 2 years as a professional to hit that sub 10 barrier. AJ asked, how do you deal with losses on the track? Man, you just charge it to the game, bro. If you're in this sport long enough, you're gonna take some L's, bro. That's a guarantee. That's an inevitable. There's death, taxes, and the fact that you're gonna take an L. It just can't get you discouraged, can't get you down. Know that you're working on some things. Sometimes people are just better than you on that day. Sometimes you weren't prepared. Sometimes you messed up the execution. All types of things can happen. You can't get hung up on losses, man. I just took an L here on Doha. It is what it is, man. Sometimes it sucks. That's part of it. Nobody likes to lose, but you have to understand that you're gonna take an L, and it's not the end of the world. You just have to bounce back and reflect, watch the tape, see what you did wrong, go back out there and keep trying, man. Just keep working. Have that heart of steel, man. Keep grinding, baby. The thing that makes people champions in the sport, any sport really, and in life, is the ability to weather the storm. The ability to take an L, but still understand that it doesn't take away from your self-worth. That doesn't mean that you're terrible and that you should give up. You have to be able to get back out there, work harder, stay committed when it sucks, when it's tough, and still be able to get it done. That's how you take a loss, man. Take it like a champion. You know I always love a good unboxing. Let's see what they gave us at this Diamond League. Okay, got a box. Came with this bottle. And it's got this little spray button that sprays mist at you. That's kind of dope. Definitely need that in Doha. Cool. Okay. Got a towel, the essentials. Doha Diamond League towel. Definitely need that out here in this heat. And then you got some hand sanitizer. So, got this cool bag, water bottle, and a towel, and a hand sanitizer. Doha Diamond League. It's our welcome gift. Oh, can't forget the masks. Always got masks. There you go. Thank you, Doha. All right, let's film the rest of this outside. Let's change it up. Looks good. This is one of the coolest elevators I've been on. That projection, Doha changing the game. So here's where we're gonna go. Hotel shops. So one of the coolest things about this hotel is it's actually tied to a mall. Got a barbershop in here. Crazy. And here we go. I'm all connected to the hotel. Where do you see that at? Only in Doha. Film this next question right in front of an iconic store. You won't believe that it's in Doha. Check this out. That would be none other than Tim Hortons in Doha? A Canadian icon? You better believe it. We got everything in Doha. Oh my God, I want one of these donuts so bad. I gotta be disciplined. Detro Slavian asks, best spikes you've ever wore? I'm gonna take it back to my high school days where I wore the Superfly R2s. I think that's what they're called. I know they're called R2s. I don't know if they're Superfly or not. It might be Zoom R2s, something like that. But I'll link a picture of my high school days at Birchmount. Yeah, those are just so iconic. Those were my first like real spike that I fell in love with. I won the triple crown at OFSA, got 3 golds, set records there. So yeah, those just hold a special place in my heart, man. Love those spikes. Tina and Pinky, my mother-in-law, shout out to you. Always supporting the channel, much love. Ask, what meet has given you the best accommodations and why? Man, it's hard to argue with this one. You see the city center in Doha. The food's always great here. Last year we had stayed in the Ritz-Carlton. I'll link that video here if you didn't get to check that one out. But yeah, Doha is always great. And we always stay in high-class resorts, hotels. The accommodation's always phenomenal. Food's always great. Weather's great. Fast tracks, all that. So Doha is a hard one to beat. Another good one is Monaco, another really wealthy place. So I think it's just the high-end places, you know, just by virtue of being there, you're gonna get great service and great accommodations. Yeah, I'm gonna put up Monaco there. I'm gonna put up Doha. Let me see if I can think of any others. Ooh, Zurich and Brussels, those are always great places, great food as well. Hotels are always nice. And those are the championships, so they always go big for those. So I feel like, yeah, I'll put up those 4. Oslo's another good one. It's always one of my favorites, great food, great fish and all that stuff in an Icelandic country. But yeah, those 5. Tina and Pinky also asked, what is your favorite country to travel to for a meet? I'm gonna say the US. Even though I live there, just having a local meet, you know, it's always good to travel and stay close to home where I live. The weather's always good in the south, so anywhere in California, Texas, Florida, those are great places to run. Louisiana, another good one. As far as like international meets, I'll say Switzerland. You know, they always have great crowds there. Meets like Lausanne and Zurich, those are always phenomenal, fast times, great tracks, great atmosphere. It's kind of like the mecca of the sport, really, I would say. One of the hubs where there's always good crowds. People are very knowledgeable there. Conditions are always good. Stakes are high. Everyone loves to run there. Everyone runs fast. So yeah, I'm gonna say Switzerland on that one. Oh, I'm also gonna throw Canada in there just because it's the home crowd. Anytime I go home for nationals, you know, it's always great to run in front of fans and families. Definitely throw that one in there. Even though sometimes it's cold, sometimes they don't flip the tracks and it's not a great place to run fast. Sometimes they do, and you do run fast. And it always holds a special place in my heart just because I'm Canadian. So Canada as well. Look at this, man. This is crazy. 150 new stores, attractive restaurants. It's crazy. They go big over here in Doha. Everything's top notch. T. John Thompson 15 says he had a meet in Kenya. I did. I had my Nairobi Kano Classic where I won the 200, and my Kenya vlog's coming soon. Like I said earlier in the video, shout out to you, man. You always comment on my stuff, so always support the channel, and big shout out to you. And back to the hotel we go. I'm still not over the fact that they have a barbershop in this hotel, bro. You know how clutch that is to have a barbershop at a hotel? I look, you need a cut, but nah, can't just trust anybody. It's sacred. Paige in the Hall asked, what do you think you need to work on personally to get faster times in the 100 and 200 meters? Well, I broke it down in this video here where I'm talking about my goals for the 2022 season. But to go over it again in the 100 meters, I need to work on my transition. That's always been one of my weakest areas in the race, where I get out well, but then my transition is soft, and that's when people usually make up their ground on me, and I have to play catch up at the end. But if I can tie in a good dry phase and accelerate through and make sure that I tie each of my phases together and have no drop-offs, I feel like I can run under 9.9 and be amongst one of the best in the world. I need to consistently run the race. You know, some issues that I've had over the last couple seasons is the fact that I don't run it enough. Typecast me and always want me in the 200 because that's my bread and butter. That's normally what I'm known for. But if I can run more hundreds, get more opportunities to run that locally and run some fast times early, I should be able to get more lanes overseas, and I can run it more consistently. So that's the 100. And the 2, obviously, if you follow my career, you know lately I've been having issues with that last 60, 50 meters. In Kenya, I put it together really well. Here in Doha, not so much, but it's a work in progress. It's definitely something that I've tweaked in training, worked on my speed endurance, and I think it's gonna come together well. I just need to tie my transition off the curve with that speed and hold it off into the straightaway. Finish with some finesse, you know, Pete all the way to the line, close with those finishers that are strong. You know, your Noah Lyles, your Andre Grasses, your Fred Curleys, your Pennies. Those guys can finish really, really strong, your Arion Knightons. So I gotta be able to finish strong with them. I know I can run with them on the curve. It's just a matter of tying together on the 2. If I do that, that's when the deep times come. All right, man, that's all from me in this Q&A. I'm gonna finish my training session tonight and then head off to Birmingham for another Diamond League meet. Stay tuned for my upcoming videos. I got a lot coming for you guys. I got a breakdown of my article that I wrote for CBC Sports. I got my Kenya vlog, like I said earlier, and I got my Maxfly for Superfly. What's the best spike for 2022? So stay tuned for those. Don't forget to sub to the channel and like this video if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. This is what happens when you're in the Middle East.
Gotta load up on water, baby. Stay hydrated.
If you think you've drank enough, just know you probably haven't. Keep drinking. See y'all in the next one.